Hello and welcome to another episode of UVCE Chronicles, an initiative of the UVCE Graduates Association. I am Anish from 3rd year ECE. Sham no Varunaha, the Indian Navy protects our waters with this motto. Our guest for today served for 32 years in the Indian Armed Forces. Meet Commodore Jayaprakash, who graduated in 1966 with a degree in electrical engineering. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Could you tell us a little bit more about yourself and your journey to UVCE as a student?
Memories are fresh. I studied my pre-university course in St. Joseph's College, and then the options were very few those days. We had an option to join engineering or a bachelor's degree in science, because we didn't do physics, chemistry, mathematics and biology. We either took PCM or PCB. So most of us applied for engineering, and there were basically 2 engineering colleges in Bangalore and 5 in the state. Based on your marks and merit, we were allotted a college. That is how I landed up in UVCE in 1961.
That is very interesting, sir. What made you choose UVCE? Was it that it was the best college in those days, or do you have some sort of previous connection with the college which made you choose UVCE?
By the way, we never had to apply for 5 different engineering colleges. There was a common application form for all 5 engineering colleges, and all the seats were clubbed together in a pool. Based on your marks and the place of residence and the income of the parent, a college was allocated to you. You had no choice in picking up a particular college. You accepted. If I was allotted BMS, I would have gone to BMS. If I were allotted, let's say, an engineering college outside Bangalore, that's in Mysore, I had to go to Mysore. But I was fortunate enough, I was allotted UVCE by, I don't know, by luck or because of my marks, and that is how I got into UVCE. Not by my choice, but the board of the interviewers decided which college I would be allocated. That is how things went those days.
How was your experience in UVCE, sir? Do you have any fond memories of those days? Any interesting anecdotes that you'd like to share, perhaps?
It was a reunion of friends. I went to Bangalore High School for my 3-year high school term, and 2 friends of mine, Giridhar and Alahan, and myself, we sat in the same bench during those 3 years, first till our SSLC. Alahan went to Vijay College, Giridhar joined National College, and I joined St. Joseph's College. And wonderful thing was, we all got into UVCE and we were allotted the same section, and in the integrated course, it was a 5-year engineering course. First 3 years were common subjects, and then we branched off into electrical, mechanical or civil. And to my luck, Alahan and Giridhar and self, we were in the same section A, and first year, second year, third year, we sat in the same bench, which made us sit in the same bench for 6 long years in our life. Things couldn't have been better than that. Alahan joined Ordnance Factory Services, retired as a general manager. Giri went helter-skelter, did jobs in Pune, in Bangalore, in Chennai, and we are all retired now. We are all in Bangalore. We still meet regularly.
That is so nice to hear, sir. Having such lifelong friends definitely enriches your life. After graduating from UVCE, you did a couple of jobs before joining the Navy. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
In our days, the jobs were few and far in between. There were no industries like probably today. There was no IT to be heard of, because we had just 3 branches. We didn't even have electronics. Electronics was just a subject in 4th year engineering, period. So what we learned was diode and triode, and we heard the name of Pentro, period. Now then, when we wrote our exams, the people from the State Electricity Board, they came to the college, and during one of those exam days, after the exams were over, they made us fill up the application form, and we forgot about it. And post the results, one would think of joining MTech or picking up a job. The only industries in Bangalore were Bharat Electronics in its infancy and HMT or HAL or ITI apart from this, there was no other private sector industries in Bangalore. So therefore, somehow post the graduation, when the results were announced, 4 days later, I was given an appointment letter by Hydroelectric Construction Projects, Karnataka, to join the Sharavati Valley project, which was under construction as a junior engineer. And then I said, let me try it out. I wanted a break from studies, and it was an opportunity to get out of Bangalore, go to a project where construction activity was still on, and those days only 2 systems were commissioned, and the 3rd and 4th generators were being put together. So it was a wonderful opportunity to learn. So I went to Jog Falls, went to Sharavati project, and joined as a junior engineer.
How about your stint at RV College of Engineering, sir? How did that come about?
You see, from being a Bangalore boy, Jog was a small little town. So I was always itching to come back to civilization. And then the lecturers' vacancies in RV College were in the newspaper. I applied for it, was fortunate enough to be called for an interview, and it was a committee set up by the university, Bangalore University, which did the selection. It was not the college staff which interviewed. Of course, the professor of electrical department was a member of the committee, and I was fortunate enough to have, they asked me questions about the project, which is a wonderful thing. 1.5 years, 1 year experience at Sharavati, I had learned certain good things about going about in the electrical field. And the committee felt that I was good enough to be a lecturer. And there I was. About a month later, I got an appointment letter from RV College that please report in the month of October, and joined the college. And that's how I came into RV College.
That's a really interesting career trajectory. After spending time as a lecturer at the RV College of Engineering, you went ahead and joined the Indian Navy. What inspired you to do so, sir? Especially in the late 1960s, when there was so much going on with the Indian Armed Forces. What with the war in 71, etc. How was the atmosphere then?
I joined the Navy in 69. So there was no war cry still on. After all, the country knew about the war, came to know about the war only end of, let's say, middle of 71. The country was unaware that India would fight a war, end of 71. When I joined the Navy, it was just another job, getting out of Bangalore, and an excitement of joining the armed forces, wearing an uniform. First of all, my family, nobody was in the armed forces. I didn't know anything about armed forces. But then I went and applied for Air Force first, wasn't selected by the Air Force. And simultaneously, I had also applied for the Indian Navy. But Indian Navy chose me. I decided to join the Navy. There was no, my professor was fortunately, he didn't stop me from joining the Navy. He released me immediately. There was no opposition from my parents. For them, the son was joining the armed forces. For me, initially, not knowing anything about the Navy was a blessing in disguise. I was totally unaware what would happen to me when I joined the Navy, and I had joined the Navy with an open mind, and I was open to new areas of learning, and that is how I joined the Navy, enjoyed every moment of 32 years of my service there.
In your service in the Navy, you have served in various capacities and in various roles. Most people, when they think of the military, think that it is a single role, perhaps in the front lines, maybe a lot of boring march past, etc. But that is not true at all. Could you tell us about all of the roles that you have played in the Indian Navy, also about your stint in the High Commission in London? I think our viewers would be very excited to know of the opportunities that lay in the armed forces.
First thing, I didn't join the electrical branch of the Indian Navy. I joined the education branch of the Indian Navy. This education branch of the Indian Navy was meant to recruit people who could become teachers in the Navy. Of course, we would also do our stint on board the ships. So, not knowing anything, I fell into the sea, joined the Indian Navy. After my basic courses, I was tasked to teach navigation to the commissioned officers. So I taught for an year in the navigation direction school, teaching navigation, tides, radar theory, and so on. After an year and a half, after 2 years of teaching, the Navy thought I was doing reasonably well, so I was posted on board a ship to train the midshipmen who joined the Navy from after completion of their 3 years course in NDA, National Defense Academy for you, and they were supposed to be trained on board the ship about seamanship subjects, about navigation, about ship handling. So I was the assistant training officer on board the ship, training midshipmen. I was fortunate to serve on that board, on that ship for 2.5 years, crossed the equator twice, sailed 5 months for every batch out of 6 months, which means I was totally about 24 months out at sea in a 30 months career, which was good sailing, found my sea legs. And then the armed forces, you don't become stale teaching, doing one job. You keep getting transferred from place to place based on your qualifications, based on your branch. So I was transferred to the alma mater of the electrical branch, that is INS Valsura at Jamnagar. So from the ship, I went to Jamnagar, taught electrical subjects, radar theory to sailors and officers. And that went on for another 2 years. While I was at Valsura, the naval headquarters sent a message in the naval parlance, a signal, asking for volunteers to go for computer course. The terminology was not computer course, it was electronic data processing systems. That was in 1975 December. I somehow raised my hand, volunteered, and then 3 months later, the naval headquarters asked me to join my so-called EDPS course at Military College of Telecommunications Engineering, an army training establishment at MOW, that is MHOW, a cantonment town in Madhya Pradesh. It was a 4 months course. There were 12 army officers, 3 naval officers, and 3 Air Force officers. This was the total strength of the course. 18 of us. We graduated, completed the course, came back to our establishments. 1 month later, the results were announced. My commanding officer called me. I was a young lieutenant, that is captain in the army. In the Navy, this equivalent rank of the captain in the army is called a lieutenant. My commanding officer called me and he said, "Jayaprakash, congrats, you have done well in the course." I said, "Sir, I got my mark sheet. I got a distinction grading." He says, "I got a letter from the commandant of the Military College of Telecommunication Engineering that you have stood first and you are topped." That was icing on the cake. It was exciting for an officer who had spent 5 years, over 5 years, just over 5 years in the Navy, to have gone for an inter-service course and topped the course. Oh, so I was on the moon. And then, of course, the first appointment in the IT field came to me. 1976 December, I got in to the first job in the IT field as a member of a team, 3-member team, developing software for sailors management system. That is how my career took off in the IT field. Joining the education branch, instead of teaching, my career switched over to become an IT person.
And that's it for part 1, folks. We heard about the Commodore's years in UVCE and the beginnings of his professional journey. In the next part, you will hear more about his years of service in the Indian Navy, as well as the advice he has to give to our students. Thank you for tuning in to UVC Chronicles. See you soon.